A Metropolitan Police inspector has been told to take reflective practice over an alleged catalogue of misconduct offences. Inspector Sam Hughes is said to have slagged off colleagues, made a music video in which he called a female colleague a fat bitch, met a woman on a dating app, and before even meeting the woman face to face, sent her confidential information about jobs he was going on, sent her addresses, and discussed the Sarah Everard case. After finally meeting the woman, she found out just 6 months later that she was going to have his piglet. Once they found out she was pregnant, Inspector Sam Hughes' behaviour is said to have changed. The woman concerned, called Charlotte, said that he started trying to isolate me from my family and my friends. He would get very strange about me being on my phone. If my mum or brother would text or call me when we were together, he would get really angry about it. It ended up with me having to put the phone down. He didn't even really need to say anything. He'd just look at me with a certain way. Well, it made me realise if I didn't do what he wanted, it was going to be a massive headache. He said to me that I couldn't live with my family anymore. I had to move off the council estate and the child would never be allowed there. The child would never be allowed near my family or my mum. There were a couple of reasons he gave: the fact it was a council estate, so there were bad people, and that my mum smokes. It's reported that apart from how he treated Charlotte, a large amount of Hughes' abuse was directed at one specific female officer whose appearance he regularly criticised and who he described as a fat cunt. Charlotte is now Inspector Hughes' ex-partner, and she is said to have had a video that shows the female colleague's face and a song about being a fat bitch and the biggest bitch in the whole wide world. Charlotte decided that having a baby with Inspector Hughes was a bad idea, and so she had a termination without his knowledge. Normally I wouldn't necessarily agree with that, but there are some situations that you really don't have many options. When she finally decided to report Hughes for misconduct, she said she submitted a statement and evidence, but then heard nothing back. No updates, nothing. It's been said that Hughes was called in, but not to a hearing, rather to what was called a meeting to discuss the offences on the 30th of September this year, but that the only offences discussed were regarding his abuse of colleagues and not about the abuse and the other serious misconduct complaints regarding sharing of information, etc. Charlotte says that she has now been informed that Hughes was ordered to take reflective practice, described in Police Federation material as an opportunity to discuss where things have gone wrong and look for ways of addressing issues. Exactly the kind of punishment you would expect from a police force that is trying to get the public back on side and allegedly fight abuse against women and girls. Well done, Metropolitan Police. You really know how to screw up in spectacular fashion. Reflective practice is also not a barrier to promotion, so even after all those conduct issues, he can still progress without issue through the ranks, firming my belief that they do actively look for a certain type of cretin for these senior roles. A Metropolitan Police spokesperson from its Department of Media and Communications said an assessment by the Directorate of Professional Standards determined that the officer had a case to answer in relation to authority, respect and courtesy, in particular the use of inappropriate language about a colleague. A misconduct meeting was held. Notice that, meeting, not hearing, and the officer was given reflective practice. Again, we see the vast difference of how people are dealt with and how police will go out of their way to protect some officers. Likely, as I say, due to the potential to be utter tosspots. But unfortunately, most people will not hear about this kind of report or will skim over it, which is a real shame. Because the more people are aware of what's going on in the police, the better we and they can protect ourselves.